welcome you all to the podcast session today. So today's agenda is the quarterfinal fixtures and how the team qualified and what are the views over and a little bit of discussion about the previous fixtures and round of upsets. So I welcome you all with my co-host Prithviraj and Roshan Saravanan in our today's podcast. So we'll start off with the big news which we have come across the last night. The news of JADON Sancho coming to the Manchester United, and finally he has been welcomed to the theater of dreams. So what is it? Being a United fan, so what is your first take over it, Prithvi?
I thought I would be more excited, but
Uh,
yeah,
They've dragged
fair
this on
enough.
for
it,
so
it
long. Like,
happened.
I don't
It
blame you.
happened. Yeah, man. It lasted a year, and those tweets, Fabrizio milked it, man. I mean, his kids must be drinking that milk. It's just annoying, man.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
He used to tweet twice a day, dude.
You people won't be having that much of like presence of I love you in your life more than here we go, right? So being football
Yeah,
fanatics, we have always been cherishing the here we go moments
three
for sure.
magical
Pretty
words.
much, we've like that has always been the moment that we've been waiting for. All the reporters have been saying it's close. All the reporters have been doing structure, this, that, vagera, vagera. It doesn't matter. We just wanted that. Here we go, and
I think we
finally
got.
it's here.
I think the way our people handled it last year, it was pretty dirty. I mean, I really thought it would go through at the end of the season, maybe a last day transfer, but ठीक है
Like
मतलब.
no
I
one was budging
guess,
at all. Like
yeah.
the first famous phrase of the Sancho saga, 120 million euros or nothing. That
But
kept
my
going for
favorite
a
part is he cost us as much as Pepe cost Arsenal.
yeah,
So
Pepe,
Actually,
Havertz, identical
yeah,
prices. So
that
now
is the
like people are
best
gonna start
thing that could
that debate
happen.
again.
yeah. So
Yeah,
like the
can't wait
main
for the
thing which
season to
I
start.
yeah, the main thing which I felt like it got so elongated this discussions and then putting on the offers which were fake true. Absolutely the fans were clueless about those things, but Woodward leaving the organization at the end of the year and Muto taking, like we had kind of a thing like he might be the puppet of the Blazers, and which still is the fact which he will be the puppet, but still the structural changes like influence this kind of a move, because like I was expecting Jadon Sancho to be at Manchester United at the end of this Euro competitions, but being it that early and like we craving for that kind of the medicals to go on because he is being in Wembley for a while, and also so it completely came together. So what are your thoughts, Roshan? Like how are the like conditions in England, because you have been staying there for a while and it's been kind of an environment for you there.
In terms of for the Sancho transfer or in terms of the Euros or what?
No, Sancho, because I'm not more
United
focused on
fans
Euros.
United fans are exploding on here, man. Like we are gassed. I think Twitter would have broken if this was announced really quickly, but even so, the fact that it's actually happened, it's uproarious. Like we love it here. So just
And biggest club
incredible
of
feeling.
England and one of the biggest clubs in the world, to be honest. So
Literally, yeah, exactly.
whatever
So
the news, it will be the focal point for us.
it's the headline. It's the headline,
Yeah,
no matter what.
yeah. But to be honest, we can talk about this for a day long. But moving on to the main focus, like the Euros and the quarterfinals and the upsets, especially. Like, should we start off with
Chaotic,
the
incredibly
first?
chaotic. Can't,
Yep.
can't rate.
Absolutely. To be frank, like moving on to the first fixture, which is Spain versus Switzerland. Uh, Spain, to be honest, the clash of the ages. So, what is your take on it, Roshan?
Yeah, so Switzerland came up here with an incredible spirit because France were leading 3-1. It was all plain sailing. In fact, Switzerland took the lead by surprise after the 15th minute. Zuba once again coming through with his fourth assist of the tournament, crossing it beautifully for Seferovic. And from then on, we thought, okay, fine, France are taking over. Paul Pogba with that incredible strike late on to make it 3-1 in the 85th minute. We thought it was done and dusted. But guess what? Switzerland dug deep. Two goals in the added time sections, especially the one from Gavranovic that started up another whole debate altogether in our WhatsApp group as to like what was the
Absolutely.
actual responsibility. But the fact is Switzerland didn't give up. We all thought it was over. France probably thought it was over. Switzerland didn't. They got through. They equalized. They managed to battle all the way through to extra time, and then we saw a penalty shootout that pretty much like it was incredible. Like for the first
And
half, I think you could say they were all very emphatic finishes, but then ever so slowly you could see the goalkeeper starting to guess the right way. I think Lloris even got a really heavy hand onto one of them. I think Eduardo Vargas it was to make it 4-3. But then at the very end, unbelievable. Kylian Mbappe, the man who had no luck whatsoever in the entire game, he like it was his penalty that was saved by Jan Sommer at the very end. The strobe glasses that they were practicing with finally came into
Yeah, man,
effect.
that's one interesting thing we
it's
spoke
a
about.
fact. It's a fact.
Yeah,
Like it has been going around since quite a while. Like it's around 2017 or 18, which
A
started the
good
things
few
around
years.
for the.
A good few years they started training for that. Like it
Yeah,
improves their reflexes, and finally it came into effect at the clutch moment. Jan Sommer sticking his hand out as he was falling to take Mbappe's penalty and win it for the game, like win it for
yeah.
Switzerland.
But to be honest,
Incredible.
like at the end of the match, like I pretty much changed a little bit of thoughts towards Granit Xhaka. To be honest, like he may not be that influential when it comes to the goals or the assists, but being the leader of the pack, like the wolf pack, which we saw in the match, like it was quite like motivating for the players to hear the words out, because it was quite he was quite vocal, and it was audible from the TV speakers as well. So that was the level what he was getting intense, because 3-3 you do not require more motivation than that against that too against a team like France.
It was his pass, actually. It was his pass that broke the lines of the French defense
Yep,
and allowed Gavranovic to equalize. So, yeah, for Switzerland, he's a completely different player. That's what
absolutely.
patriotism does, I guess,
To be
for a
honest,
player
the
like
giant
Granit
killers
Xhaka.
we can say.
The biggest giant king. Like these guys were world champions 3 years ago, but now that game, it was such a shock to the system that the players were fighting on the pitch as to who was at fault for the defense. Even their parents were fighting on the sidelines.
Yep,
It was
I heard that.
that
unreal.
sounded like an episode from a Indian daily soap,
You
man.
you could you,
That
you
was
could put it
just
on you could put it on one of those serial dramas. Yeah, it's
yeah, man.
unreal.
Yeah.
But I think
Uh,
both teams fucked up defensively. That was
Pretty
the
much.
Exactly. You
theme.
don't you do not get to a 3-3 scoreline
France
without
more so. France dug their own grave. I feel it was their own mistakes for each goal they conceded there.
Like
So
moving on to the like key players I want to talk about more rather than France, because the group of death has already left the
yeah,
tournament. So moving on to the main player, which has been the scoring asset for the match, Seferovic. So he has been pretty decent, and like the one of the greatest contributor into the game. And Granit Xhaka, as I told, one of the leader of the pack. And the man which is on the right side of the screen, Steven Zuber. What are your thoughts about that, Roshan?
Yeah, he's been brilliant in this tournament. Like, first of all, how can you get 3 assists for one side? Obviously, it's Turkey, like the group whipping boys, that's okay. But 3 assists in any game, especially for your country, it's an incredible contribution. And the fact that he could top it off with a brilliant cross for Seferovic in this game
yeah,
to take
that
the
is a
lead,
brilliant run too.
superb cross, superb run, overall brilliant play from him. And yeah, like you said, Granit Xhaka, I think with that armband on, with that jersey on, he's brilliant for Switzerland. But it's crucial now that he has been suspended. He's actually been suspended owing to accumulation of bookings. So he's going to miss this quarterfinal against Spain. So that leadership, that solidity in defense, that control over the midfield, it probably may not be there. So let's see how Switzerland deal with that, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. And to be honest, also Shaka will be missing out against the Spain. So moving on with the Spain team, like there are a couple of point of attractions which led to the game actually. Like I was expecting a lot from Spain at initial stages, then they had a drop in the levels and lack of goals. Morata missing out on the pens and score, missing out on the lack of chances. Like he was also missing out. Like if you see the chart, the xg which was expected, it was around 2.8 and 2.9 within 2 or 3 matches of the group stages. So Morata was quite missing out on the chances, but still they trusted him, and my god, he delivered that in the extra time.
Finally, exactly.
And what a moment it was, to be honest. Like
It was
I
it was
don't
an
want to
emphatic finish. It was a really
rather
emphatic finish, deep into extra time.
Yeah, I rather don't want to talk about the 3-3 which has been there on the screen, but when it became 3-5, that is where the point of attraction began. So, considering what I thought about Orsic and Kramaric, like, uh, did you look into the things against the Spain? Like, whether they were like looking to be more dangerous, to be honest.
Orsic, I
Roshan.
think we know about Orsic just for fun in the Europa League. We know he came on for Dinamo Zagreb and scored that hat trick which knocked
Yeah,
Tottenham
yeah,
Hotspur out. So we had a lot of fun at that expense. But we didn't
absolutely.
hear much from him, obviously, because he plays for Zagreb. But now for Croatia, his introduction was vital
Yeah,
because he came on and completely turned things around, attacked in the later stages, got a goal and an assist to take it to 3-3. Again, in a time where we thought that the game was done and dusted for Spain. But
yeah,
nope, they actually came back, forced extra time,
The
and
start was pretty
Orsic with
funny.
hmm?
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, Unai Simon let the. I
The
mean,
very
what was
first
he
goal that
thinking?
Croatia scored, that was, well, Pedri
I thought
scored it
it's
for
gonna
them.
slip from Spain's hands at that moment, but they really made a great comeback there.
It was a
Yep,
one-off day,
Spain
I
Aspilicueta
felt,
on
doubled
to be
up.
the
honest.
score sheet, man. I mean, I did not expect that.
I don't think anyone did, especially with the fact that Spain had finally started clicking against Slovakia at the end of the group stages. And so we thought that their youth, their dynamism, like it would have done Croatia really well. And obviously, they came back. They fought up 3-3. Like they fought to a
Amey's
3-1,
boy
came
Morata
back to
also
3-3,
scored.
and obviously
Yeah,
in extra time, exactly. Danny
Yeah.
Olmo registered 2 assists in the game. One of them, of course, for Morata, an emphatic finish, a full silence the haters sort of celebration as well. So the
Look at
trust
look at
that
Amey's smile right now, man. Just look at it.
I think
yeah,
he's
yeah.
happy. I think he's
Yeah,
happy for
because
Morata. I think we're all happy for Morata right now.
no, to be honest, like we have been quite a critic towards him in past couple of years when he came to
Yeah.
Chelsea and when he went back to, and the Real Madrid move didn't work around. He was in a prime touch when he was at Juventus, but still, I feel he has that ability to score that crucial goals, honestly, and we have seen it in the extra time at the final stages. And the key players I want to see, like, put focus on Sarabia and Alvaro Morata. We have always been talking about, but there is one man we are talking about is Ferran Torres. What are your thoughts about that, Prithvi?
Uh, the very first game Spain played in the group stages, one player really stood out for them. That was Ferran Torres. I think the first two games Spain spent a lot of time experimenting, learning about. I think everything fell into group for them in the Slovakia game, and I don't think they're looking back anymore. Something has clicked, and they look smooth in attack.
Yep.
Ferran Torres is obviously a threat against any side he plays. We've seen that at City. I mean that hat trick at Newcastle, and then he started a he started the Euros on a right foot, and I feel he's the key for them.
All of a
He's
sudden,
gonna
the
do
purchase is
things.
looking really shrewd for Man City, and it's going to be a fearful time next season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Moving on to this fixture. So, what are thoughts about, like, who are you going with,
I think
Roshan?
I think because of Spain's momentum, sheer momentum, they're the first team ever in European Championships history to score 5 goals in consecutive
Yeah,
games, especially
that is some
when
stat.
it's an incredible stat, and especially for a team who people thought was going to falter because they had such high expectations. I think it's a brilliant way to come back and show that they are a force to be reckoned with. Because of those
Yeah,
2 games, they're now the highest scorers in the Euros this season as well. So I just feel that momentum is going to take them over. I think it's going to be way too powerful for Switzerland to handle. So my vote's for Spain.
absolutely. PC, in a one-word
I,
wrap.
I
What are
feel
thoughts?
I feel Spain has it.
Yeah, fair
It's
enough.
I mean we
We are
can't
on the same
discredit
track, I guess,
Switzerland.
today.
We
Exactly.
can't
Yeah.
discredit Switzerland
Yeah.
completely after what
Switzerland
they
have
did
fought hard.
against France. But Spain are too fortified at the back. I don't think this could be a clean sheet
That
if
is one
Unai
thing
Simon
that we
doesn't.
that's one thing I think we need to point out as well. The fact that Spain have players like Emerick Laporte, Pau Torres, Cesar, Alba, like that back five is sturdy. It is sturdy.
Yeah,
Like Simon
It
came up
is.
with a crucial save as well in extra time.
I think he made two great saves in the entire game after fucking up like that, and that's a big deal. That shows
yeah,
mentality and
That's kind of
fair
when
enough.
Spain knew that they needed to take their next chance.
uh,
Yeah. So like I guess we are three on the same track. So I'm also going with the Spain, like being the like attractive game which I saw in the second half, and also so I'm pretty much like inclining towards Spain and their game. So let's make it three on a trot. So moving on to the next fixture, which is Italy versus Belgium. So this fixture is to be talked about, like, because this is kind of a fixture which will be a key fixture. Like, one of them will be a favorites whoever qualifies from this round. So talking about Italy, they have been pretty solid into the back line, and the impact which the because the previous manager before Roberto Mancini, he had a different score, and then there was a transition, but the backline has been a pretty much a kind of a steady thing. And talking about the fullback Spinazzola, man, that has been a quite impact, to be honest. Uh, what are your thoughts about Prithvi, about the key players like Spinazzola, specifically, and then I'll come to the young prodigy about Federico Chiesa later.
I think Spinazzola has had a very great tournament, and he's right up there with the best left backs in the tournament. He's done amazingly, and he's very attack minded, and he's the key against Belgium. So the plan is going to be to restrict Lukaku. So the centre backs are going to be on it, and Spinazzola is going to get chances to run ahead. So I feel he's a very key player for them in this game, and he's a steady supplier. There is, you could doubt his final product a bit sometimes, but then he creates those chances quite often. So I think he's going to be a key against
Yeah,
Belgium, attacking from the wings and supplying the strikers.
I think it
yeah,
was his cross towards Chiesa that started the whole thing, doesn't it? In
Yeah,
extra time.
yes, yes,
When Italy
yes,
went to
yeah,
extra time, it was Spinazzola's cross that started the whole ruckus.
yes. That was a point. And to be honest, like there was an article by Gazeta which was talking about the tactical analysis, and so which was like I'll just sum it up in a line which was saying like if they terminate the supply which is given to the Lukaku, so that will be a major part of that, like because Chiellini has been missing out on the last two games due to the thigh injury, so his return might be a boost if we look at from that point of view. And I also looking at the how the way the Pessina and Locatelli have played even on the sub appearances. So I feel they can also start the game. I'm not pretty sure about that, but yeah, you can see.
yeah.
And
They
talking
could start.
about the prodigy Federico Chiesa, what are thoughts about that, Roshan?
Yeah, Chiesa, he hasn't had too many chances in the tournament, but because of Domenico Berardi's stop turns in the group stages, but he took his chance perfectly well when he finally came on. He received that cross from Spinazzola beautifully. He controlled it with his head, which is incredibly hard to do from such a high bouncing cross, and then took it down, smashed it into the bottom corner, and he has really, sent a message to Roberto Mancini like, I'm here, and I guess I deserve a place in the starting 11 now. Because Berardi was actually going down sort of in quality as well as the game went on against Austria. So I feel like Chiesa could be a sort of wild card option, especially in the fantasy football teams.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
in fantasy football and in the actual match itself, he's definitely someone to watch for.
Yeah, the pace and the creativity, and definitely the footballing IQ has been pretty decent because we do not see that in the at that age like 22, 23 players try to do something different, and they lose the game sense, and also like that doesn't become the focal point of view of the game later on.
I think especially in the league season as well,
Yeah,
Chiesa has kind of had a middling to high season, but now I think he's starting to really grow in the game.
yeah, but it is always the move from a smaller club to a bigger club which affects the game initially, but later on they try to stabilize. It's not the kind of player like Ronaldo or something who have an immediate impact kind of thing. But yeah, such kind of players definitely take a time to adjust, and then when they start to flourish, oh my god, that's a nightmare for the other teams to
I think
bear.
Chiesa
Definitely one to
starts
watch.
the game. I feel he will start over Berardi.
He should start rather than
Yeah, he
if
needs to start. I feel
He deserves it. He definitely
against
deserves one.
Belgium. Yeah,
yeah. And
Pessina has
moving
been
on,
on target.
to the last player which is on the screen, which is Insigne. So uh, how much we talk about that is, to be honest, very less for that kind of impact which he has from the midfield. So what are thoughts? Like, he has always been like in the player, like in between the midfield and the link between the midfield and the strikers kind of things. And he has also played in the front line as well as in the mid. So what are your thoughts about that, Roshan?
Yeah, Insigne has been like before the tournament began, he was pinpointed as one of the players who could certainly rise highest and stand his ground in the tournament. And of course, in the first few games, he's shown that. But of late, I feel like as much as he gravitates towards the ball, as much as he attracts the defense and everything, I feel like he's been slightly restricted in terms of how his end product has been. He always likes to go for the cut inside and curler shot that people like Aya and Robin have specialized in, and sometimes it works out for Insigne. He scores belters sometimes, but I think now he needs to mix his game up a bit, especially in these latter stages where he'll be an important player against a formidable side like Belgium.
Yeah. And talking about Belgium, so uh, Prithvi, would you like to give the updates about the injury thing and also the facts about uh, Belgium Germany encounter previous?
So sadly, Kevin De Bruyne and Eden Hazard are injured and they might not start the next game, but they might be fit for the semi-final if Belgium make it through. And Belgium have been rock solid at the back. They scored one goal. Let's talk about that too.
It
Thorgan
was a
Hazard's
thunderbolt.
goal.
I don't think anyone was expecting that.
Dude,
Yeah.
that was definitely a contender for goal of this round.
Yeah.
Yeah, goal
Definitely,
of the
Probably.
round, probably.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
Contender.
I
It's
think even
I think we know
you
who
would put
wins
it
it,
right
but
up
it's
there
certainly a
with
contender.
Patrick Schick's goal. I
Probably,
think,
probably.
yeah,
probably
yeah,
it will be the
top two.
goal of the tournament because it takes
Yeah,
a lot to
definitely.
do it from that point of the field.
So
So
I think,
considering like,
no, no,
yeah,
go
yeah,
on.
go on.
Yeah, so I think KDB and Eden Hazard are going to be a huge miss. Like against Denmark, we saw the impact KDB made when he came on. Belgium was in fact trailing before that. They weren't playing all that great before KDB came on, and we just saw how the game changed. But you can't count them out of the game completely, but they'll be a different side without them.
Yeah,
So yeah, that's there. Yeah.
definitely. But I'm to be honest, I'm pretty much impressed with Thorgan Hazard's goals, and he has been good into the club level also. But when it comes to the name of Hazard, so we expect something different from a different player. So, but talking about players, the man on the left of the screen, Romelu Lukaku, my God, what an impact! But uh, impact is very kind of conditional when it came to this tournament. So, what are thoughts about that, PC?
I think he's been on target more. He's been on target 4 times and he scored 3 goals. He's the key given that KDB and Hazard are not there. So he's going to be a very key player against Italy. Also, there is the thing of having familiar foes in Chiellini and Bonucci, who he's faced while playing for his club Inter
To
against
say, yeah.
Juventus, and he has scored against them. So it's going to be an interesting battle there. He's always up for a battle. I mean, you can see he will fight anyone and everyone. He'll hold the ball up. So it's going to be an interesting battle between them.
Yeah,
Let's
fair
hope
enough,
he
fair enough.
scores.
To be honest, scoring I cannot guarantee to look into the squad because KDB and Hazard are missing. But
I mean,
Thorgan will be
we
the
all
man.
want an open game. Come on, we don't want someone to come and
Yeah,
park the bus. I'm
that's true.
really hoping for an open attacking game in this one. Italy have shown what they can do in attack. Belgium are not that bad without KDB.
Yeah,
I
both
think they
have
still
really
have
good
some
attacking
players.
sense as
Yeah,
well. So it's going to be
Yeah,
interesting to see how they approach it.
yeah, yeah.
yeah. And the man in the middle, Thomas Munier, he has been pretty decent because like club change and also the lack of speed has been talked about a lot when it comes to tactical analysis of the player. But I feel he has been pretty decent considering the formation of what Roberto Martinez has been deploying. So that is quite a key and which adapts to his game more. What are your thoughts about that, Roshan?
Yeah, Thomas Meunier, I think he's been someone who has been very dependable in the past, but I feel has stuck his head up against the rest when it comes to the Belgian side. He's been pretty damn good down that right hand side. He's contributed both directly and indirectly to the Belgian attacking scene. And defensively, he's been quite solid as well. So you can say he's been one of the better players. But against Italy, against an attack like, Insigne, Immobile, and whoever starts on the right wing, he's going to have his work cut out for him for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And I'll quote a statement from press conference what Martinez said, which will be followed up with our prediction. So Roberto Martinez, I'll just read out. So he said like Italy have been unbeaten for 31 games. That doesn't just happen unless you are a very good, unless you have a very good squad. Against Portugal, we also had to ask ourselves, can we beat the current title holders and the winner of the Nations League? So the answer was definitely we could. So we now ask, can we beat talented, well-organized team like Italy? So he has kept the press as well as the fans into the question of whether they can beat or not. So what is the prediction on your side, PC?
I feel Italy goes through.
Roshan?
Yeah, I feel inclined to say the same, purely because of the absence of, the big creators in Hazard and De Bruyne. Of course, Belgium have players like Dennis Praet and Yuri Tielemans for Leicester, who have done pretty well for them this season. Of course, Yuri Tielemans scored that great goal in the FA Cup final, and he's been a very underrated creator. So I feel he could start this game and possibly show what people were missing when they talk about him. I just feel that Italy would have enough, though. So Italy, but very close.
Yeah, fair enough. I actually wanted Belgium to move ahead, but looking at what progress Italy has been making around, so I feel they look to be the favorites to move
I
from
think
this.
they deserve to go through.
Yeah, absolutely. Deserving
Yeah.
is the word
Of course,
to be
whoever
honest.
wins this will deserve the
Yeah.
victory. No wonder.
Okay, so that's the wrap for the Italy versus Belgium. So moving on to the next fixture, which is Czech Republic versus Denmark. So this fixture is the least interesting fixture, to be honest, when it comes to the four matches which we are going to see in the next round. So talking about Czech Republic, what are your thoughts about that, PC?
I think they did. I think it was the first upset of the round. They
Yeah.
beat Netherlands, who we thought are going to go through. Matthias de Ligt tried to play basketball in his own box. So I think that red card was a key moment. But even without that, they did look like they were being dominated by the Netherlands, and they were in the game. And I think a lot of people, including us, we counted them out, and they really deserve. They're the underdogs in this tournament. I feel them and Switzerland. So
I
I
cannot say
feel
underdogs, but yeah, they can be and one more. They can create one more upset by defeating
I think they
Denmark.
are the I think
that
they are the furthest outside shot of all the
Yeah,
eight teams to win the
definitely.
tournament.
yeah. I don't
Also,
remember after they being the populars after that 2010. Just correct me if I'm wrong. The 2010 World Cups, which they were being called the underdogs that time, not for the winners, but to make quite an upset that time.
Yeah, I don't think the
I
Czechs
don't
have had
remember.
any special sort of personalities in their football
Yeah,
since until
except for
now.
the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
because he has been the Chelsea legend, and
there was a interesting tweet I read. So according to some AI, it calculated that Czech are going to win. In that simulation, Czech won the tournament. Czech Republic won the
How
tournament
many
in that
times do they repeat that? Surely
are
that's
we
got to be a
are we having
repeated
a Paul
simulation.
Octopus one more time on Twitter?
simulation.
Now that was a
I think
personality.
they do it before every round.
Yeah. Because
Oh, fair
there
enough.
will be there will be every, like, if you take the numbers just from 9 to 0, we can do a permutation combination. We can come up with the 99 numbers also. So that's not a big deal for people to put on tweets and then take the screenshot and then delete later. So we have seen that for years and years. So talking about
I
Czech
mean, it's
Republic,
like Ross said, it's a very outside chance.
yeah,
Could happen. We've seen a lot of upsets this tournament already.
yeah. And the key player which I especially want to talk about, which is calling for the fans whether he can hear the haters or not. So the Patrick Schick, and what a goal in the group stages, definitely the goal of the tournament. And he has been the quite an impact player for them, like scoring 4 goals if I'm not wrong,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Second behind
and
Ronaldo.
absolutely that has to be the mention because he's no more in the tournament.
Pretty much. I
Sorry,
think that,
Ronaldo
yeah, that makes
fans.
him the leader.
Yeah. And so like he has been quite that much contributing. Like he has been running through the pitch for for absolute 90 minutes. Like 6.4 is the average. What is the running average for a forward into the tournament? And he his own average is 9 kilometers per game, so which is quite a bigger margin
He's
compared
got
to
a
the
very good
average.
run. Like, he's got a very good work rate for someone who you would expect to be a target man.
Yeah, I bet
Because
you
Because
a
they
lot of
line
being
up.
United
United,
fans will like him.
rather United fans have been craving for this for a long, seeing Anthony Martial leading the force for past 2 years.
Well,
So
we
you
got
would
Cavani.
have
We have Cavani,
so you
and
would
then
have
after that,
Patrick
we've
Schick
got
over
Maidstone.
Anthony
We're good.
Martial in our team.
We are not getting into the debate of Martial
Exactly.
because
That
I can
let
talk
that
about
be.
that for
Let
a long.
that be.
Absolutely. And like Thomas Holtz, like what are thoughts about that? Because like he has been a contributor to the goal and assists against Netherlands, and also the 2 shots on targets out of the 4 which he hit, and definitely the recoveries which we are talking about is 14 recoveries, 3.5 per game, which is quite a decent number to talk about. And
Decent amount of tackles in there too.
yep,
Yeah, he's got
eight
double the midfielder
All
average, which is
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
expected for someone who, like, he's not naturally a defensive midfielder. We've seen him in the pivot next to a very familiar face in the Premier League, Thomas Suchek.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
obviously his main job would be, tackles, interceptions, recoveries, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But for a player like him to be involved in the goals is very rare, and especially for them to be the deciding goals against a team who everyone expected to go far in the tournament, like the Netherlands. Incredible work. Like, it just speaks so much to their spirit and their work rate.
Yeah, absolutely. And wrapping up with this team, about the last player to be talked about is Thomas Vaslik. He has been quite a impact in this tournament, having kept a vital clean sheet and is second in the Euros. So that is quite a thing to be talked about. And the man who is getting standing in front of the goal against Denmark, he is the one who will be looking out for. So talking about Denmark, so pretty much varied faces to be talked about, but the man which I'll definitely put the focus on is Josh Miley, as you both know it. I'm
Somehow,
definitely
somehow, your FIFA Road to Glory silver team bullshit has produced this incredible baller
yeah.
to be
Pretty
watched for
much
the future.
definitely. I would definitely would love to work on one stream where I'll talk about the players which I have been talking about, and few have been definitely come on the main series. Like even one of the players who's playing in Germany, Arne Meyer, he hasn't got that focal light, but we'll talk about that sometime later. So talking about these 3 players onto the screen. Firstly, Joachim Meile. Oh my God, what a tournament! What a tournament he has been having. Roshan, would you like to just have a little more praise to this man?
Yeah, like if you want, I can rattle off stats or I can go off the visual test because this kid seems to pass them both. That
Yeah,
bottom left corner, he seems to dominate and he's incredible on the wing as well when it comes to his attacking contributions. First off, his recovery rate is outstanding. He's got an average of 6 per game. Then his passing average, like that is very much equatable to defenders, especially, and also the crossing average as well. But again, what's been outstanding for him is the fact that he keeps on piling up and down both wings. He's naturally a left wing back, but the goal he scored against Wales came off the right hand side. He was found completely free, and he took advantage of that perfectly. So
yeah,
that
yeah,
was that was his second goal from 6 shots out of 9 that ended up on the target. Like 6 shots on target out of the 9 he's taken in total, where the average defender takes 1 shot every 2 games. So clearly we can see he's not one of the bottle. He could very well be a special one.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and yeah, his work rate is outstanding. He covers 10 kilometers per game at the very least, when the
Whoa.
average defender covers 8.
That's that's
So
great. That's great numbers.
so you can see he is definitely a player to look out for, probably a breakout star.
Yeah, definitely. And like the man on the left, he has been the like dark horse kind of a player into the squad, if I'm not wrong, because like previously like missing out on the Dane superstar Christian Eriksen. The lack of assist we were expecting, like, but this man has definitely delivered, being a little more advanced kind of a defensive midfielder. But definitely, Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg will be a man to look out for in that midfield. And to moving on to the player which is there on the screen, Yusuf Paulsen, he has been quite an impact to the game and definitely scored a couple of goals. But I would definitely would like to point out one more player which is not on the screen, which is Damsgaard. So the first assist into the tournament to Dahlberg. And what are your thoughts about that, Roshan?
I think Damsgaard is certainly another one who we need to look out for. I remember talking to a few friends on WhatsApp about this guy, and one of them said, "Listen, one of my friends is a Serie A fan. He's been watching players like them, star for this season, and you know, that friend has been laughing at other people, especially fans from the Premier League, for only just noticing this young talent from Sampdoria. And
Yeah,
he's been incredibly tricky, and I think it's a really good opening tournament for him to announce himself. He's been tricky, he's been
definitely.
pacey, he's been very much on the creative side, and yeah, the assist that he finally notched up for Kasper Dolberg was really good as well. He received the ball from Mela, another line breaker from him, and then worked his way around probably two defenders, then finally crossed, slid the ball through to Dolberg, who finished emphatically to start the game off for them.
Definitely. It's a quite an impact, to be honest. Like he turned the game upon with the assist.
Pretty much. He's lighting the game up, and he's very much lighting this tournament up for Denmark.
Yeah,
So this
definitely.
country definitely has a lot to be excited about, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Yep, yep.
yeah. And like to wrap up with the stat, like this has been the first team to score four in consecutive Euro games. That is quite a
Until
stat to be
Spain came along and bettered that by scoring five
yeah.
against Croatia.
Spain has
Incredible
been.
stuff.
We have talked about Spain, but definitely we'll be looking about that team again if they qualify. And we'll wrap up with this for the prediction. What are your predictions, PC?
I feel this game, it's going to be a very open game. Denmark are pretty attacking in their own right, and even Czech defense is not any of the teams. Both the teams aren't teams who will sit back and defend, and it's going to be all out. And I hope we see a game like Croatia, Spain, or France, Switzerland again. Let's see. Let's hope.
Yeah.
I'm
So
really
who are
hoping
you
for
going
this
with?
one to be an open game. I think Denmark edges it.
I guess Roshan will be on the same side of that.
Yeah, I think Denmark. I agree. It's going to be a really exciting game, even though these are two teams that are quite unfancied in the tournament. They both have bundles of spirit, and I think that's going to take them really
It's really
far.
either or. It's a coin
Exactly. It's
toss. You
it is
can't
very much a coin
predict
toss,
this one.
but I feel like the tactical flexibility of Denmark against Czech Republic's sturdiness and their rock solid spirit, I do feel Denmark will find a way through somehow. So my vote is
Yeah.
going to be for Denmark.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We three are on the same side, to be honest, up till now. So we are on Denmark. I'm just voting for Denmark just for my lad, Joachim Maile. And so moving on to the next fixture, which is the fixture to be talked about for Roshan especially. And definitely whether the question of is it coming home or is it not? Whether the squad is coming home or whether the trophy is coming home. That's the bigger question. But to be honest, against Germany, oh my god, like seeing the lineup, I was like, come on, Germany, that's the game for you to be set up on.
It
But
was it
yeah,
was
yeah,
very, very we weren't feeling very confident in front of that game at all. Like it was the same sort of setup. It was the same kind of players who we don't think that can take the game by the scruff of the neck. Jack
yeah.
Grealish, player like him, still sitting on the bench against a historical opponent for more reasons than one. We just
And
hoped
it's quite a
we were just
fact you
riding on
cannot
hope.
keep players like Jack Grealish, Jadon Sancho onto the bench, considering what the quality and what they offer onto the pitch. It's hilarious when you do not see them onto the
I
lineup
think we all
pages.
lost our heads a little when we saw seven defenders starting.
It was a bit crazy. It was a bit crazy, but my
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
somehow Southgate has made it work.
Yeah, and to be honest, like the high line which they were maintaining, Maguire pushing forward, the ball is moving fluently. I was not expecting that kind of play from England, to be honest.
Well, you can
I'm
expect
being
that from
pretty
Maguire, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Maguire is the first guy who always initiates the plays from the defense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But to be honest, like when how the game started against Germany, like England was quite opened up in the initial minutes of the game as well. But definitely, the man in front of the goal was definitely the key for England. To be honest,
And
I'm
another
not
player who seems to be low on confidence in front of the goal, Timo Werner.
missing out on the
Man, that
partnership with
ball
you.
from Kai Havertz, dude, that was amazing weighted ball.
It
And
was brilliant. It was
I mean, it
great.
was a tough chance to score, but he should have scored that one. The one
Yeah,
which he bagged into Pickford. Pickford did well
but
there.
Yeah, pick.
definitely
I,
the match had the dream voice behind it, and when Raheem Sterling scored, Peter Drury went nuts. To be honest,
He
like
went wild.
he it was wild because like he has been supporting for the club and also not the club, I mean the country, and definitely he wanted them to score desperately. And when Raheem Sterling scored, the crowd erupted, the fans erupted, and definitely our WhatsApp groups are also erupted because there were
Exactly.
lots
Like
of
for
tags coming out from Roshan's side, which was saying like, "Where are the haters? Where are the haters?" To be honest.
I have to shout out when it happens like that, man. Like obviously a player like Jack Grealish finally came on at the hour mark sort of, and it changed the game for them. It completely changed the game.
Definitely.
England were really a lot more dominant on the ball, a lot more creative, and Grealish's link up, especially with Luke Shaw, it was responsible for both goals. So that left side is superb. It is solid in my opinion.
Yeah.
I
Would
mean, without
definitely.
Grealish on the field, England did look a little
It was a bit drab.
lackluster.
It was a bit drab, but I have a feeling that
Yeah,
was Southgate's plan all along to frustrate them. But when Raheem Sterling lost the ball and
come
Kai
on.
Havertz
I
found,
mean,
not even Kai Havertz,
that's
sorry,
just
Thomas Muller, when he found himself through on goal, we were
yeah.
breaking it, bro. We were breaking it. Like that is a full Wembley packed house, and you're seeing Thomas Muller, the man who everyone knows as the English nemesis. When you see him bearing down on goal, you shit yourself. But somehow he put it wide. Somehow he put it wide,
Yeah,
and I think
that
that
that was a shocking one.
But
it
that
was a
was the moment
surprising
which
incident.
England capitalized upon, and then we saw the man who everybody was waiting for to score, Hurricane, which people
Finally
call him.
leading from the front,
Yeah.
finally bundling in that header from I
Yeah.
think it was Grealish's cross. Brilliant stuff,
Yes,
absolutely brilliant
with the
stuff.
wrong foot, to
It's a
be
hard
honest.
ball to control. He did really, really well. Shows his class, man. It's a really
But
hard ball to control.
Grealish had definitely had that kind of an impact onto the players because, like, when he came onto the field, like, almost the game changed on its own. It cannot be like talked about in words, but it was a visual test and a visual treat when Jack Grealish came onto the screen.
You could
Definitely,
see that
definitely.
when he gets the ball, something's going to happen.
Yeah, things he
They,
makes the
they,
things
they
happen.
felt and looked more free flowing. It just
A
clicked
lot more
somehow
free, a
for
lot more
England.
confident.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the
And
man, the showstopper, and also the ball stopper at the end, the last man onto the pitch, Jordan Pickford. What are thoughts about that, Roshan? Because he has been criticized quite a while, and also like the legends have criticized him, and they have come in front and had a support to him also. Like even Neville brothers and also Rio Ferdinand has been quite critical about him in the past, but the support has been quite immense this time around.
exactly, like Jordan Pickford, like you said, he's been criticized. We all had our reservations about him. But when like I said in the previous episode, when you play with such a defensive setup, you want your goalkeeper to parry any sort of shot that comes your way, even like no matter how few shots you come through. And he certainly came through clutch with a couple of really good saves throughout the game. And because of saves like that, because of the goals that we've scored, there certainly seems to be a different aura around the team. Especially
Yeah.
like we got Jack Grealish and Raheem Sterling on the screen there. They're both they can't be ignored for different reasons. Raheem Sterling is now the top scorer for England in the tournament. This is his third goal out of the four that England have scored. So he has certainly been important for England. Jack Grealish again, incredible creator. Jordan Pickford, sturdy in the back line, and there seems to be something different about this team. Like now
Yeah,
that now that
definitely.
we've beaten Germany, now that England has beaten Germany, it's the first major win for England in a major tournament
We need to
against
say
Germany
it.
since
Rush,
2000
we need to hear you
Are you
say it.
talking about tournament or are you talking about life?
in a major
Let's
tournament. Life,
Yeah,
though,
but
that includes
let's move on
friendlies
with the
and
but
topic.
everything.
Let's. I do not want to
we,
get
we,
into
we need to
trouble,
hear you say
honestly.
it.
You know what? I'm gonna say it because I think it's coming home. I
Oh
think
my
it's
god!
coming
Oh my
home.
He
god! The
said
At
money
the
is
it.
on.
very
Money
least,
is
at
on.
the very least, it's gonna be a finals appearance. I think so. I
Yeah.
think so. We
Great.
can get to talking about Ukraine, but I think there's gonna be a finals appearance in store.
I see the heart has taken over the head this time.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. When the heart takes over for the entire team, it takes over for all the fan base. Gareth Southgate has somehow pulled this incredible victory off, finally taken the solace
Let's be the finger
after the
crossed
96.
moment for Roshan.
Like
I do
after,
not want the stream to be ending on a low by talking about Ukraine, but I'll just quickly wrap up a little bit about
yeah,
Ukraine and then we'll go for the predictions for that. So Ukraine has been pretty decent. Like Sweden match was a quite an interesting match. Like getting to the end of the thing, scoring that last crucial goal, the red card, and the things pretty much turned out to be. But the formation which they played in, like the flat 4-3-3, even the bench minus Kobe. But so like I was pretty surprised with that move, but still fair enough. That worked around for them. And the woodwork was literally craving for the shots it was taking around from both the sides of the pitches. So and
like Emil
definitely
Forsberg
the
could have had a hat trick, man. Can you believe that?
yeah, fair enough. Fair. Like he struck quite two times or three times. I'm not wrong.
He struck one perfectly on the bottom right hand side of the woodwork, and then a searing
If
shot onto the
he
crossbar.
if he actually pulled that off, my fantasy team would have come off better this week.
It's okay.
So
It's
I
at
would
least
okay.
he's
say
We
I
have
gone.
would
been used. We are used to seeing you at the bottom, to be honest. But it's
I would
fine.
say the same, but other people had captains, man. Other people had Forsberg captain, so it was a
Possible
very
win
jammy
back.
move from them. So one goal is enough.
Nice dig there, Amey, because just because you are on almost winning a mini league.
No,
I
no, no.
see
To be
what you
honest,
did there.
I'm coming for you, bro. I am coming for you. Prithviraj in the
it's
dust. I'm coming for you, Amey.
yeah. Because I don't have the cards to play around with the wild card, and the limit has been gone. So let's see. I'll try to defend my fortress at the top. Okay, so moving on to the key players, I would like to firstly talk about the main man, Zinchenko. Like he had a goal and assist against Sweden, like 19 recoveries per and 4.8 per game. It's quite a bigger task because he has been quite warming the benches at Man City, honestly, because nobody was expecting him to be starting the matches because Mendy's arrival was there, and also like, but it was a
Also the use
blessing
of
in disguise.
Cancelo. Also about
Cancelo, man,
Cancelo.
Cancelo,
That's
he's been that's
we
that's
we
thing.
we we really like the guy despite him being from Man City, but that's another discussion altogether.
Honestly, yeah. We'll have a word about Cancelo specifically when we do a stream about FPL or
Yeah,
specifically the
let's
game week fixtures.
cancel that discussion for now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
fair
take
enough.
it another day. But yeah, Zinchenko for Ukraine. He has
Yeah,
been
yeah.
he's
A
been
dribbler,
pretty
a
damn good.
pacey fullback, a midfielder. I do not know what to call him upon, but definitely he has been a contributor for them in the last match. A goal and an assist against Sweden, and definitely that changed the match. And the second player which I would like to talk about is Yarmolenko, which we have been seeing in the EPL regularly. He has been the running engine for them, like running 10.5 kilometers has been the average for him in the 4 matches. For the forward, like I previously said, it's 6.4 on an average, which is hilarious. Like it's almost the double. I'm not saying double, but it's almost the double. A little bit on which I can say they are missing out on the forwards. Yeah, Ramchuk, definitely he is the man which they would be looking upon to score the goal against England. I'm specifically saying, and the last man to talk about is Bushchan with 13 saves, pretty decent season tournament as well, and he's one of the players who have had the most number of saves of any goalkeeper, which are still there in the competition. And before we wrap up with the predictions, I would like to ask PC to give the trivia. Honestly,
Uh, England have met Ukraine in Euros before in the 2012 group stage. England won 1-0. Rooney scored the goal, I think. Right?
yeah.
Yeah. It
Rooney
was it
was
was a
there.
pretty it was a pretty jammy goal to score actually.
Yeah.
Gerrard with the wide cross, and
Shevchenko
it was
played
a
last 20 of those fixtures before announcing international retirement. And uh, Shevchenko's former teammate Terry, sorry, sorry, Just some error. Rosh, can you read the last part?
Yeah, so Devic, in fact, scored a ghost goal that game. Basically,
Oh, shit.
he shot, it was saved, but somehow the ball found its way crossing the line. John Terry, in fact, cleared it, and somehow it was ruled still like they ruled the goal out. England ended up winning that game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess England have been pretty
Things
lucky
that only
every time.
happen with England.
Well,
England
it's
have been
happened
pretty
with
lucky
Manchester
every time in
United
the
once
tournament.
before, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Ghost goals.
Fair enough. And moving on to the
definitely.
predictions for this fixture, what are thoughts? Roshan,
You don't need to ask me.
no
You
need
don't
to
need to
say,
ask
no
me.
need to say anything. I'll just ask PC just because it's been the formality for me.
Look, man, you will see my predictions later. I've put Ukraine, but in my head, I know that if they play seven defenders, there is no way this Ukraine team has the discipline to break that defense. So
You wanna
I
go with my prediction? You wanna attempt that PC by any chance?
I feel like I'm going to be left alone here.
I
Yeah,
feel I
it's.
feel on paper you will say Ukraine, but in the head you will know that it's going to be
I'm just hating
similarly.
England just for the one man, Gareth Southgate. That's the only reason I'm hating. It's nothing related to history or anything of India. Just
Here's the
moving
weird
on to
thing
But
the
on
that's
topic.
the
here's the weird thing on Gareth Southgate though. Like, yeah, he plays very pragmatically with this formation, but he has done something which I feel no other England manager has been able to do, which is gather everyone together to unite for the common cause of England. Because if you look at the past managers like Sven Göran Eriksson, Steve McLaren, Roy Hodgson, they've all been blighted by teams full of players who put their club before their country. So I feel Southgate has done a commendable job, a really good job in that respect, because this team is still young, and even the experienced players they've bought into it. So whether you want to
Yep.
take it as a Greece 2004, fine by me, fine by me,
Yep,
because
yep,
Southgate
yep.
could be doing something special with this team, even with the defensive setup that he has. Because when he gets those attacking players on, there's no more exciting front line to watch.
Yep,
also
yep.
before we move on, I'm really excited to see our new Manchester United player Jadon Sancho start or even get an appearance in as a sub and do something. I
Exactly.
mean,
Like
we've been waiting to
what an
yeah.
Yeah,
incredible
yeah.
way to
He
begin
can
the session.
definitely like. We want a goal or an assist. At least he will celebrate so that there are editors out there who are doing the digital transformation of his jersey into a Manchester United jersey.
Incredible stuff. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
we want
Even
like
our man PC has been doing something which is coming up soon on Instagram as
Yep,
well as on
yep.
YouTube. So we'll
yeah,
look out
please
for
do
that
follow
as well.
that as well. Voices of the Devils on Instagram.
Yeah, yeah. We'll be uploading a regular reels or some football related content onto that channel as well. So we'll look for your love on that because we are new here, but we'll definitely look out for a better reach out for people and also the fans around all the globe. So with that, we'll just wrap up with the final slides of prediction. So can you just yeah? So this is Prithvi's prediction. Moving on with the next slide, which is my and Roshan's prediction. So there is a change in this prediction. Only the thing
There are slight little changes for
Where?
both of y'all, but I've been solid.
but
I've been
definitely,
Where?
but
solid. But let's see how things go. Let's see how things go. This is going to
fair
be a
enough.
really interesting tournament.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
personally feel that this Euros, for everything that it's offered us, especially in the round of 16, there were 5 games that went to extra time. Can you believe
yeah.
that? 5 games out of the 8. And then one
Yes.
of them even went to penalties, knocked out the world champions. I think this may well be the best international tournament I've personally seen in my lifetime.
I would like to deny that, but taking the time considerations, we'll have it at for another day. So just the last slide change, which will my prediction is going on Ukraine and not with Roshan. It will be Prithvi and Roshan versus Prithvi and Amey versus Roshan. So with that, we'll wrap up this stream and thank you all to be staying along with us till this far. It's been quite an hour of a debate and a discussion with this. So with that, it's a wrap for the day. Thank you guys. Please do like and share and subscribe also. And with your votes and love also, we'd like to have your comments and feedbacks into the comment section below. And I have also attached a couple of links into the description for you to check out. Thank you guys.